So thank you, everyone. My name is Laura Phinizy. I'm chair of ANC 34G, and I would like to welcome you to our special meeting of April 24th. We do have a quorum present, so I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we will begin with commissioner introductions. I will go from left to right on my screen, starting with Commissioner Gore.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lisa Gore. I'm Commissioner for ANC 34G01, which is all of Hawthorne and portions of Barnaby Woods. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Nagy.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Liz Nagy. I'm Commissioner in SMD 07, which is military down to Chevy Chase Parkway on the south and Nevada on the east and Reno on the west. And thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you. Commissioner Grunwald.
Yes, good evening. Carol Grunwald. I'm with SMD 03. My district is bounded by Utah Avenue to the northeast, 27th Street to the east, Broad Branch to the south and to the west, McKinley on the north. Then it jogs north and east along Nebraska, where it rejoins Utah Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sherman.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Bruce Sherman. I'm the commissioner for Single Member District 02, which is the area that encompasses St. John's College High School, the Noble Retirement Community, Murray's New Barrett Fields, the Episcopal Center for Children, and about, 650 houses.
Thank you, Commissioner Sherman. Commissioner Simmons.
Hi, Commissioner Simmons. I have the east side of Connecticut from Legation Street all the way down to Western. Take it back to Broad Branch Avenue, which borders Ward 3 and 4. My single member district includes the Civic Core site with the library and community center.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Commissioner Gosselin.
Yeah, Peter Gosselin. I'm across the street from Corinthia on the west side of Connecticut, from Military to the Circle, and a peninsula to the east going to Nevada between Military and Legation. Welcome.
Thank you. And my name is Laura Phinizy. I'm chair of the ANC and also single member District 4, which goes roughly between Western on the north, Utah on the east, Broad Branch on the west, and McKinley on the south. Includes Lafayette Pointer Park and Rec, and also Lafayette Elementary School in that area. So thank you. So for the purposes of the minutes, for Commissioner Grunwald, this is a special meeting. The purpose is to finish the meeting business of April 13th, including a time-sensitive grant application. And so due to extenuating circumstances, we didn't have the normal 7 days notice. Also, given that it's a special meeting, we do not have changes to the agenda of the special meeting. So the agenda will be as posted. We start with a review of Good for Goods grants. But as we go into that first item, which should be a rather non-controversial and positive item, as just to remind everybody that while we may differ widely in some of our opinions about important issues before the community, I do think it is accurate to say that everyone is passionate about this community and wants the best. And let's do our best to respect that common thread, even if it's sometimes not so easy to find. It is there. Thank you. So Commissioner Sherman, if you would like to talk about your grant application.
Yeah, I would. And Elizabeth Workman, who's the executive director of Goods for Good, was scheduled for us on April 13th. She was not anticipating this meeting, and she is away on a weekend retreat with her husband at a mountain area where she has little to no connectivity. So I excused her from participating and ran a question by the OANC to ensure that she did not have to be part of this conversation. And Denise Victor, counsel at the OANC, indicated that a commissioner could represent the application. She will be with us on Monday as we proceed, if you're in agreement, to agree to the disbursement of funds. So I'm going to represent the application. I think all of you know that Goods for Good is one of the few, if not the only, charity in our ANC 34G. I will stand corrected on that if commissioners have charities in their SMDs, but certainly it's one of very few. It's a cherished institution over here in SMD 02. I, of course, live right across the street, so I've frequently observed the comings and goings, the kind of activity. I've visited the facility many times. They have been keen to engage the community more fully on the various activities and things that they do, creating birthday greetings, redistributing clothing, doing all kinds of service projects for disadvantaged, marginalized folks in the District of Columbia. And so this is an event that is going to showcase what they do for the community, involving the community, including students from St. John's College High School and other places that will get service hour credit for participating. The date is May 9th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it is all that Goods for Good does, manifested in a one-day event. The budget is $2,000 out of a total of $4,000. It is to defray the costs of their materials for the event that they're going to be doing and all the various activities that they're going to be hosting on that day. I won't go on too long. In the interest of time, everyone has had this. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. We can walk through the budget line by line if you'd like. I've got it on my screen. Happy to do that. Commissioners, at your pleasure, whatever you'd like.
I'm fine with going ahead.
Is there any discussion? I see Commissioner Gore has her hand raised.
Sure. I would like to know specifically the parameters of the grant application, the amount, and the budget for sure.
So parameters meaning what exactly?
What are we giving them the grant for? What are they using it for?
Yeah.
The budget.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think I just tried to explain that. So they're hosting a community event on May 9th. The community event is meant to showcase what Goods for Good is about as an institution. It will manifest the various activities that they routinely support, but with direct community involvement, with neighbors invited to come and witness and participate. It will combine a celebratory occasion. There will be pizza for people. There'll be refreshments. There'll be games that people can play. So that's the event. The budget is $2,000, as I noted, out of a $4,000 total budget, and I will walk you through that. They have $450 for lawn activities, including rental of tables and chairs. They have costs of flyers and posters to market the event. They have general supplies, including tablecloths, paper towels, cleaning supplies for $100. They have volunteer thank yous for $75. They have for their child and family activity stations, plastic bags, toiletry items, stickers and adhesives, acrylic markers, and so forth for $375. They have for making bookmarks and books. They have cutout bookmarks, markers, puffy stickers, scratch pencils. For beaded bracelets that they'll be making. These are all to be distributed to beneficiaries. Beads and elastic string, plates, container bags, $150. They have materials to create art for walls, $175. They'll be decorating flower pots, and they have the pots, acrylic markers, soil, seed packets, cellophane bags for $400. They will be producing socks filled with granola bars for folks in need for $400. And they're going to be making cards and tissue paper flowers, and those supplies are $75. So it's a $2,000 request to the ANC to defray the costs of all those supplies for this event on May 9th.
And I believe Commissioner Sherman, when we got the email from Denise Victor, she said that there would be some materials that children are making for seniors, but otherwise they were not giveaway items. And the OANC found this a permissible use.
Right. They're for beneficiaries. They're for the people the communities they serve. and they're bringing people of the community together to serve others in the community. That's the nature of the event. And yet it's to showcase what they do. It's to bring greater attention to their activities. We are promoting it. I've just promoted it again in my newsletter. I'm promoting it across our single member district and will be across the entire ANC to invite neighbors to come and be part of it on the day, to observe what they do, get to know Goods for Good. So it's, to give a boost to a local charity that does incredibly good work. That's what this is for.
I'm going to go to the commissioners who haven't spoken yet. Commissioner Nagy, I believe, or Commissioner Simmons, I did not see whose hand was first. Do y'all know was first?
Yeah, Commissioner Simmons was first.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. Can you elaborate on the thank yous for volunteers? Is that financial thank yous or is that a gift bag thank you? And then the populations that Good for Good serve, I know they mentioned that they serve vulnerable populations. So those individuals, is it the individuals in our ANC or just across Washington, D.C. that's going to be the beneficiaries?
Well, so as you know, the parameters for a grant, and again, the OANC looked at this, have to do with a benefit for our ANC. Goods for Good is in our ANC. There are lots of members of our community here who volunteer for Goods for Good on a regular basis. At the same time, Goods for Good serves a broader community across the district and beyond the district in terms, particularly in their redistribution of clothing, which they do in great quantities, and in aiding people in nursing homes, aiding people in families that low-income families. So they're serving a broad community. In terms of the thank yous, let me just read from the budget again. And your question, Commissioner Simmons, was what exactly?
Was it across the ANC or was it?
No, with respect to the thank yous.
Oh, I'm sorry. And what were they? Were they gift bags?
Actually, this is, to be clear here, there's a note in the budget that I'm reading from. This is not ANC funds. So the thank yous, the total budget is expressed here, and I was reading across most of this is not to be used for, ANC funds would not be used for the volunteer thank yous.
Thank you for that clarification. Commissioner Nagy?
No, I just, Commissioner Simmons articulated some of what I was going to say, which is that this is billed as something to support vulnerable neighbors. I think the site calls it Acts of Kindness Fair. So to help support vulnerable neighbors. Just a comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Nagy. Commissioner Gore, did you have an additional comment?
I did. Commissioner Sherman, if you don't mind sharing the budget on screen, because I'm not clear as an ANC what we're paying for and what we're not paying for. And I don't know if you had shared the grant application with the ANC. I might have missed that. Have you shared that with the commissioners?
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
Do you mind resending that? Thank you.
Okay, it was on the agenda.
I'll resend it while he pulls up his screen. I think that'll be easiest. So then he's not working two things at once. Yeah,
I
I'm glad
appreciate
to do that. No problem.
All right.
Are you able to share? You should have that permission. Okay. And my email should have come through. Please let me know if it didn't come.
Okay, can everybody see the budget?
Mm-hmm.
You can see at the top, it's a total of 4,000, 2,000 from the ANC.
Mm-hmm.
And I read each of the line items, tables and chairs on down.
Can you scroll down, please? So there's 2 items that are not funded by the ANC.
Right.
Okay. And the rest of those items make up the $2,000.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Would you like me to keep it up on the screen, or we?
No, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there any further discussion? Okay, Commissioner.
Only to note, everybody knows this is a two-step process. We present it now, and then we come back to vote on dispersing the funds. And as I said, Elizabeth Workman should be with us if you have any more specific questions about this on Monday.
Okay, excellent. So again, just to repeat, this will be on the agenda. It already is on the agenda for Monday. Commissioner Simmons, more about the grant for good?
Yeah. The email you forwarded does not include the application. Also, can the budget be forwarded, included?
Okay,
The
everybody,
email
the
you
budget,
sent,
just to be clear, the
uh,
budget, the application are linked in the agenda. So just go to our website, take a look at tonight's meeting, and click on the highlighted budget and application, and you can pull it up. And again, all this went out several weeks ago.
I'll double check the email because the attachments are there in the original, but perhaps when I resend it, I can definitely make a note to resend after the meeting. And since we are voting on Monday, you will definitely have it before then. Apologies if that didn't attach the first time. Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry, another question, Commissioner Simmons, or is that just hand still up? You're okay? Okay. All righty. So now we have Commissioner Gosselin. You wanted to talk about GoVocal, a motion and discussion on using GoVocal as an engagement platform on the Civic Core.
Point of order, Chair Phinizy.
Yes.
I want to read the ANC voluntary recusal statement on this issue.
Thank you, Commissioner Gore.
So for the record, regarding the motion and discussion on using GoVocal as an engagement platform on the Civic Core, I want to state clearly that I do not have a financial conflict of interest in this matter. However, BEGA has issued guidance to the commission advising that when a matter concerning the commissioner's outside affiliated entity comes before the ANC, taking action can implicate the prohibition against the appearance of a conflict and a requirement that our work be done in an impartial manner. As a board member of Chevy Chase Board, I take these ethical standards seriously. Therefore, in strict adherence to BEGA's advisory guidance to cure any potential appearance of a conflict, I am voluntarily recusing myself from this agenda item. To allow the commission to deliberate completely freely, I am going to drop off the meeting. At this time, I request that the chair please notify me via text message when the discussion and voting on this matter have concluded so that I may log back into the meeting. I ask that the recording secretary please note this recusal in the official minutes. I will forward my statement to the recording secretary so my exact language is included in the official minutes. Thank you, and I'll stand by for the chair's text.
Thank you, Commissioner Gore. All right, and I will ping the Commissioner Gore when we are finished with this item. Okay, so back to Commissioner Gosselin. You were going to have a motion and discussion on using GoVocal.
So let me put a motion on the floor to begin with, and then we'll open it for discussion. I move that ANC 34G launch by, we can debate this, but by noon Monday, April 27th, the GoVocal project page, currently labeled Assessing DC's Pick for the Community Center Library site, and the commissioners commit to make best efforts to encourage residents to visit and use the page. I further move that this site is in its current phase, and that we launch a second phase that encourages more exchanges between residents and between the ANC and residents beginning, and I will just offer this as a date, May 18th, 2026. Do I have a second?
Just to be clear, I'm not seconding.
No, I understand. Yeah, but I think yes. So I have a second. Okay.
Okay,
Is there discussion on the topic? And
I would like to make a motion, Commissioner Simmons, Phinizy. I make a motion to
You'd like
amend,
to amend the motion? Mhm,
to amend the motion,
mhm.
that if this ANC should pass this GoVocal survey that I have to say I haven't had access to or any input into, that the ANC, it not be an ANC-wide survey, and individual commissioners can decide whether to use it in their SMDs. Do I have a second?
Let me write down the language to make sure that I get the language correct and that it can flow as a package. Okay, give me 2 seconds. So you were make an amendment to the motion that the ANC launched by noon Monday, the GoVocal project, and that commissioners make robust efforts to engage the constituents. Yours would say, move that ANC launch the GoVocal page, and that individual.
No, actually, I'm going to take it back. I'm going to make a different motion. I'm going to make a motion to postpone this discussion to a certain time, May 11th, after I theoretically had the opportunity to weigh in on what's in this survey, which I have not. This was done entirely without my input and without the input of, I think, a couple of other commissioners, and I'm really shocked.
At this point, this is actually a point of parliamentary procedure that I don't have as much familiarity with. So I need to take a moment to look there. But I am we do have among with us someone from the office of the ANC, Kent, postponing to a certain time, May 11th. Do you have... it just needs to be adopted by a majority vote, correct?
Okay, so and I'm hoping you can hear me because I haven't checked the setup yet.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Thank you.
Good. So Commissioner Gosselin made a motion. It was seconded. I believe Commissioner Nagy has now made a motion that's within the motion. So her motion would need to be seconded. You would then vote on that motion and then go back to the original motion. So I think the first thing you need to do is get a second on Commissioner Nagy's motion to see if anyone else would like to have a conversation or discussion about postponing it. You would then take a vote on it. If the vote passes that the commission wants to postpone it, it may make the original motion moot, but if the motion fails, then you go back to the original motion.
Okay, and
hopefully that wasn't confusing.
No more than Robert's rules is, but I'm looking at page 54 in the Robert's rules in brief, and it says in the ordinary circumstance, you cannot postpone a motion beyond the next regular meeting. But are we in an ordinary circumstance, given this is a special meeting?
Correct.
Are we in not an ordinary circumstance?
Well, I think it's fine to propose a date certain and have that be part of the discussion. Okay. What I was focused on more so is that you already have a motion that's been seconded on the table. And so this additional motion from Commissioner Nagy is a motion within a motion. Okay. So it has to be decided before you get back to the original motion.
Okay. So thank you for that. And I'm sorry for the audience for not being Johnny on the spot with all the nuances of this, but this was a new one on me. Okay, but always good to learn. Alrighty, so we have a motion to postpone this discussion until May 11th. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a second. Is there discussion on the motion to postpone? Commissioner Gosselin.
I'd like to discuss it. First, I'd like to address Commissioner Nagi's comments about her not being able to participate in this. This commission was occupied, very much occupied with other things over the last month or 6 weeks. I did say early on that I was going ahead and trying to do this, but I think that was all lost in the wash of the discussion about conflicts of interest and so forth. So that's point one. Point two is that, as Commissioner Sherman has said periodically over the last month, 6 weeks, we are already behind. Mayor Bowser chose the Rift Valley development proposal on January 16th. We reacted to that initially and then sort of got to the February 28th meeting at the community center library and at the community center and then since then most of the ANC's efforts and energy have been in this debate about conflicts of interest. Three, I just say that because of the fact we're under time pressure, I looked at the experience. I was part of the experience of putting together the 2023 survey. And it took us months and months and months. In many ways, the 25 survey was a build off of that. So those months were sort of carried forward. I've tapped back to the 23 and 25 survey and looking at questions. Finally, the proof is in the pudding, right? I mean, I believe that the description of this project and the questions are right down the middle. This takes no sides. I have listened through Chair Phinizy to some of the criticisms of worries about we're privileging or overemphasizing a very, very thin information from the developer, and I've tried to make that clear in here. On the other hand, I've listened to Commissioner Simmons' concern that asking about housing is implicitly saying we can do something about it, and at least as matters now stand, that seems unlikely. The city seems to have made a decision. So I've tried very hard to come right down the middle. Liz, I'd also just say this. You have criticized me publicly for
Commissioner Gosselin, we need to address marks to the chair, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I will, Chair Phinizy, I just want to note that I've been criticized for calling this ANC deeply divided and balkanized. And this seems to be a point where we could do
Order. Point of order. This has nothing to do
Sorry,
with.
what is your point, Commissioner
The
Nagi?
point is this remark has nothing to do with the motion on the table.
Okay.
Whether
With the survey itself.
With the motion to postpone, we're debating the motion to postpone to a certain time, and whether I've said that. Whatever I said,
your point is well taken, Commissioner Nagi. Thank you, Commissioner Gosselin.
I've withdrawn the remarks. The remark about previous comment.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Gosselin. The next, I want to make sure that I get to people who haven't spoken yet. Yep. First, Commissioner Grunwald.
Yeah, so I have several problems with this. We were told that Peter was just fiddling around with GoVocal, and voila, we have a full-blown survey prepared. And I object to that. I was left out of the first survey, and I was left out of the second survey, writing the second survey. Both these surveys, I'd like to point out, were put together by Pro Housing.
Commissioner Grunwald, you need to confine it to the topic of this particular postponement of this survey. Thank you.
Well, but this is why she wants to postpone it.
Of this
I'm not understanding what you're saying, Chair Phinizy. I object to the survey. I object, and I also object to the presentation. I think it reveals the bias of its writer. If we have been trying to do a whole ANC-wide survey for a long time. I had no idea that this survey was being written, and it should have been if it's a whole ANC survey, it should have had the participation of all the commissioners who wanted to participate. And so I object strenuously. It's very prejudicial. I find several instances in the presentation here that show the bias of the writer, and that's very concerning. There are also some inaccuracies in here, and like I said, I haven't had a chance to peruse this because having a full-blown survey done by one commissioner was a real surprise to me. So yes, indeed, I would like to postpone this. Also, I don't understand why we need another survey. I'm all for surveys, but I'm not quite sure what we're going to learn that we don't already know from the previous surveys that we've all done, that Dumphead did and that we did. We did 2 surveys on this. We keep asking our constituents to weigh in. We keep asking the same questions about these proposals, and they keep giving us the same answers and wondering why we're not doing anything with the answers they're giving us.
Okay.
Instead of asking them over and over. So I have several problems with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Grunwald. Commissioner Sherman.
I'm very supportive of surveys. I think, as everybody knows, the community surely knows that as well. Just for the record, after the DEMPED presentation on February 28th, the very next day, Sunday, I wrote to everyone and said, we should do a very quick survey, given that we now know, this was just after February 28th, all we're likely to know from the city about the Rift Valley proposal. So it seemed to me to be an opportune time to move forward. That was.
Point of order, is this related to the postponement?
Yeah, it is. In the sense that I recognize time is limited. And in part, of course, I had proposed on March 1st doing that survey. So we're at a point now, obviously, where time is limited. And yet, and Peter, I thank you for your efforts. I know you've undertaken this in good faith. I have no question about that. But in our prior survey development process, we not only consulted research experts who could take a look at our work product and provide comment, which is very important in a matter like this for all ANC. We also engaged the public and had public meetings. No one in the public has seen this survey. The people tonight, there are a total of, 16, 18 people on the call, 7 of whom are us. No one knows about this. So I would strongly argue that we give ourselves time to take a look at what Peter's produced. I did on April 13th send Peter and everyone questions about this. And again, I understand we're all busy, so I'm not finding fault, but simply to acknowledge I never got an answer. And I asked some very basic questions about why the survey, what do we tell members of the community that we're doing this for? What do we intend to do with the results? These are fundamental questions, of course, in doing surveys. So I strongly support giving ourselves some more time for commissioners to weigh in, for us to consult with members of the community, to have some research experts. We know who they are in our community. We can turn to them very quickly to see how we might go about fielding a survey with the limited time we have before we need to render a resolution to DEMPED.
A point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair Phinizy.
What's your point, Commissioner Gosselin?
I want to know whether it's germane to the discussion of Commissioner Nagy's motion, trying to address some of the issues Commissioner Sherman just raised. I mean, I'm in a bit of a bind in that my motion is my original motion. I could talk about the substance, But I
Right,
all I really
right.
want to say is this is not a survey. This is an information feedback site. No demographics, open-ended questions, things at the end. We are trying to start presenting people with what we know about.
Points of order. This is this germane to my motion to postpone to a time certain, which I would add is the meeting, the ANC meeting after the next one on April 27th, so not indefinitely.
I think in terms of clarifying the thing that is being postponed, yes, but we do also need to get to Commissioner Simmons. She has not spoken yet, and she is one of the commissioners who has not yet spoken. Thank you.
Thank you,
Commissioner
Chair
Simmons?
Phinizy. So I believe it was sometime in March, the ANC gave Commissioner Gosselin the approval to go forward and build out the GoVocal. So he has done that. And so I'm not sure why the commission would like to delay it. Also, given the previous speaker's comments, I'm confused from the comments about how timing is of the essence, yet we should still postpone. So I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Did you want to register your support or objection to postponement?
No, I object to the postponement. However, if we're gonna postpone, I support working with Commissioner Gosselin in moving forward the GoVocal page as single member districts who basically adhere, who have authority or commission of the Civic Core site along Connecticut Avenue. So our commissions are directly across each other from the Civic Core site in the surrounding area.
Point of clarification. I'm not sure I understand what Commissioner Simmons is saying. Is she saying that she and Commissioner Gosselin get to decide because they're on either side of the Civic Core?
What I'm hearing is it sounds like a motion to amend the amendment.
I don't think you can
Motion to
do
amend
that.
the postpone, but I don't know that a motion to postpone. Give me just a moment
You can't amend the motion
to
as far
postpone.
as I know.
I don't see that it offers that option. So we would have to vote on whether just up or down we postpone. And then once that gets done, then we could go perhaps another amendment way. We have some commissioners. I haven't spoken yet. I'll take this opportunity to speak and then also call on the commissioners who haven't spoken. I think while it would have been good to get more input and more round input, I think that and with the time that we have and the issue that we have, the engagement possibilities of the work that we have in front of us, the pros outweigh the cons, and for that reason, I would not postpone at this time. But I believe Commissioner Gosselin spoke to a second phase, and I think that is where great input could and should take place. But I think getting going is important. But that's my piece. Commissioner Nagy.
Thank you. To Commissioner Simmons' point that the ANC voted to allow Commissioner Gosselin to move forward my understanding was just to understand how the GoVocal platform worked. What I was not expecting was a full-blown survey that did not include me again. I have an email that I was told not to speak at the last one of the survey meetings for the last survey. I was told I could come, but please don't speak. And then I tried to go to another meeting and had to leave it.
Commissioner Nagy, we're talking
yes, but I am. This is why I want to postpone, Commissioner Phinizy, because I have had zero input into this survey, and that is fundamentally unfair. My commission area also is affected by the Civic Core. It is not simply a matter of Commissioner Gosselin's SMD or Commissioner Simmons, SMD,
Point of
even though
order,
that
Chair.
includes it.
This is going outside of the conversation. It's Friday night.
Sorry, Friday night? Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Sherman?
Yeah, I just want to come back and say I would support postponing it for the reason that, again, with respect to Commissioner Gosselin, the process that we have gone through, that he's gone through here, the commission has gone through here, does not meet virtually any standard of professional survey research development. It will not be well accepted if we move forward by the community. The community hasn't participated. It hasn't been vetted by research professionals. The things I said before, this is not the way to do this. This is not going to be a good look for the commission. We need to step back, take stock, get commissioners involved, let the community understand, and move forward with this. We can do it relatively quickly, but we have to take those steps.
Okay. And I see one more commissioner up, Commissioner Grunwald.
Yeah, I would just like to reiterate my strong objection to being left out of this process. It's just unheard of. We were told that Peter was doing fiddling around with GoVocal to learn how to use it and, do a kind of trying to set up a presentation and work on. Now it's presented to us as a fait accompli. That is just fundamentally unfair and unacceptable. I was cut out of the first, working on the first survey, and I'm cut out on working on the second survey. And it's just unacceptable, not fair. This was just a sneaky thing that was done under all our noses. And I just find that extremely objectionable.
Point of order.
What's your point, Commissioner Gosselin?
My point is the word sneaky.
Okay, so the point is well taken. No, the point is well taken. The word sneaky.
Well, how about a big surprise? Is that acceptable?
Big surprise is absolutely acceptable.
The fact that there's a full-blown thing here, we weren't informed that this was being done, and now you're trying to create a fait accompli. And if this goes through on Monday, it's full of inaccuracies and biases. So I will not have any input into correcting any of those. And that's just completely unacceptable.
Okay, so all the commissioners have spoken. So
Wow.
we had a motion to postpone the survey until May 11th. Did I get that wording right, Commissioner Nagy?
To a certain time, May 11th.
Phone, the GoVocal, and it's not really a survey, the GoVocal project to a certain time, May 11th. Okay, and we had a motion, we had a second. I think
I see some hands raised, Commissioner Phinizy.
Okay, I was going to call for a vote. I think if you would like to talk more, we can, but I'm thinking that let's try to keep it not repetitive, but additive. Commissioner Grunwald?
For example, one of the inaccuracies here, he says the community center would be somewhat less than the current center in size. That's ridiculous. We're losing 1/3 of the size of the current building. It's just wrong. He says that the facility will be 6 or 7 stories, but there's nowhere in this presentation that explains to people that this presentation is not finalized. Okay, this presentation likely, most certainly, will change, and it could get taller, it could get wider. The city didn't come in and wish to change our zoning to allow a 90-foot building now down to 80-foot building. They didn't do that for their good health. They did it because they want to see an 80-foot building on that site. Okay, so we need to let people know that this pretty little picture that was drawn on the back of a napkin, okay, is just it can completely and utterly change from top to bottom in its appearance and size. Okay, that's nowhere in this presentation. And also, I find the paragraph that refers to cutting off people who don't want to see housing on there. You're so the bias is towards you're saying, oh, the city's already decided about the housing, so there's no point in railing against it. Well, I disagree. Projects
Point
have
of
been
order,
changed and
Phinizy.
stopped.
A point of order.
Projects.
I'm at a loss here. I'd be happy in discussion of the original motion to defend my work product, but I mean, I can't. I mean, I think if I went to a defense now, I'd be charged with not addressing the Nagy amendment. So I mean,
Well,
should
this is
I
why I
address
want
these
to.
points?
This is why I want to delay it, okay, the discussion, because there's so many things that are wrong in here and biased.
Okay.
And so I would like the opportunity to weigh in on it. This is just, just dumped in my lap here. And I haven't had a chance to scrutinize it or make recommendations to make changes.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Grunewald. Commissioner Sherman?
My question was simply one of clarification. Postponing until May 11th consideration of the project. Is that what we're talking about?
Commissioner Nagy, Commissioner Sherman would like clarification of the
Yes,
motion to postpone so that it would be reconsidered at that time, correct?
yes, and I'm seriously hoping that I will be permitted to weigh in on what has already been presented to us by that time.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Simmons, I see your hand.
Yes, I just want to remind Robert's Rules of Orders about attacking someone's motives. I don't think,
Right.
so I just want to remind everyone of that. And I just think that until we have specific details from DMPED about how much we're losing or gaining, I think we should refrain speaking out on that to avoid misinformation in the community about what we're losing or gaining. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
Can we move to vote, please?
we can move to vote. I see Commissioner Grunewald's hand again. Commissioner Grunewald?
Carol?
Okay. All right, I will go ahead. So we had a motion
You
to
want to put your hand down for right now because we're going to a vote.
I'll lower the hand. Okay, then we won't have any confusion there.
Right.
Okay, so all those in favor of postponing the GoVocal project to a time certain of May 11th, please indicate by raising a hand or showing a hand in the chat. Okay, and I'm just going to make sure I count them correctly. I see Commissioner Grunewald, I see Commissioner Sherman, I see Commissioner Nagy. Okay, if you would kindly lower your hands. All those against the postponement, please raise hands. Okay, we have Commissioner Simmons, we have Commissioner Gosselin, and we have Commissioner Phinizy. So we have a tie vote, 3-3. So, so the motion does not pass, does it?
It does not.
It does not. Okay, so now we go back to without the postponement on the table. We go back to Commissioner Gosselin's original motion. I move that the ANC launch by noon Monday, April 27th, the GoVocal project page, assessing DC's pick for the community center library site, and that the commission make robust efforts to engage the constituents.
So let me try to address some of the ill feeling about this project, not about the development. You're right. I moved ahead during the controversy about conflicts of interest to try to get something together that, as I say, I think is a down the middle account. This is not a survey. Evidence of that is that I'm not asking any demographics. There's not a single question but one that will be required, and that one asks anybody going in and looking at it to tell us what SMD they're in. In every place, I provide open-ended for open-ended answers. I also provide for people to give us questions they want us to pursue. Um, yes, it is an information and feedback mechanism, and the aim is not to produce it's not a one and done. The whole design of GoVocal is that we try to put some sort of structure on the initial conversation, and then we move to places where people are have the most concerns, the most questions, the most ideas for how to answer them. And so that the idea here is that we would put some sort of framework. We talk about housing, we talk about the community center library, we talk about open space, we talk about parking and traffic, we talk about the idea of retail or not. Um, uh, People can go in and just look at the verbiage. People can go in and just do comments and questions. But I do not see the primary product, if you will, of this first phase being anything other than a report to the community about what came out of the first few weeks, and then working on a design for how to capitalize on what we heard to ask other questions and to give people other avenues for addressing them and asking us to address them. It is true that I used the survey template in GoVocal, but that's after
Point of
trying.
order, how many minutes do we have for
Well,
this?
I'll end. Those were my attempts. I I think this is there may be some inaccuracies there, and I'm willing to take edits, but I just think that we need to get something out, and I hope that you'll decide that in the balance of things, this is a useful thing to get out.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Gosselin. Commissioner Grunwald.
Yes. So, Peter, you will take corrections and before Monday. So I have to now,
Yeah.
I'm dropped, my weekend is gone, and I'm going to be rushing now to send you comments. Is that it? That's what I'm doing this weekend.
Okay, Carol, I have to say, I heard about some of your concerns about this being the Rift Valley proposal being thin, and I put in language that I had thought had
That-
addressed.
Oh,
But that's what you think. That's what you think. And there are, 6 other commissioners on this, well, I guess 5 who are addressing the Civic Core, whose opinions matter just as much as yours. So, and then my second point is that I'd like to know how you apparently now are in charge of this whole thing, how we or you are going to advertise this.
Point of order,
So
Chair.
is there
Comments go through you?
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Grunewald, will you kindly direct your comments to the chair?
I was just directing them in general. Okay, how are we going to get this advertised? Are we going to send out a postcard to every household? If not, only the people who are techies, who are acquainted with, technology and can be reached easily, or who follow the ANC, will know about this. What about all the other people who don't do any of those things? How are we going to let them know that this survey exists? Are we doing a whole ANC-wide postcard to let everyone know? If we don't, the results will be skewed.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Grunewald. Commissioner Sherman.
Yeah, again, this is not the way to do a survey. This is not the way to do a community engagement project. We have experts in our community who are professional researchers who understand how to structure questions, understand how to frame them, understand how to present them. We are taking out the fact that no commissioners have been involved, taking out the fact that I asked questions about this, Commissioner Gosselin, and I'll direct my comments to the chair. On April 13th, when I saw this has been in gestation now for weeks. And even going back prior to my note on April 13th, I had asked what was happening with GoVocal. I didn't get a response. We've been completely in the dark about this. And as I say, the community has as well. It is unconscionable that we would put out to the community a project like this that solicits their input, however limited we wish to describe it, without having community input into that process. We are an ANC that whose legitimacy rests on our consultation with our community. This is not commissioners speaking on behalf of the community. It's the community speaking through the commissioners. We have to engage people. I'm flummoxed by where we are with this, to be honest with you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Nagy?
I want to say that there's no way that this will be made acceptable tonight. I don't know how many commissioners had input. I gather that you, Commissioner Phinizy, did have some input into this, and I gotta say, floored that the rest of us did not have input into this. And Peter, I will address this through the Chair Phinizy. I would like to comment that it is absolutely incredible to me that, having been playing around with this for some serious amount of time, it never occurred to Commissioner Gosselin that he ought to get the rest of us involved, or else he made an executive decision to disenfranchise my constituents by not getting me involved. And that would not be the first time that someone has made that kind of decision on behalf of my constituents. And it is beyond frustrating. And I don't even know what to say, but this cannot be made acceptable tonight. I don't want to entertain any changes to it tonight. I haven't had a chance to read it.
Okay.
And why would I entertain changes to something that I haven't actually had a chance to study, because it was withheld from me?
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Nagy. Commissioner Gosselin.
Well, let me address a few things. Withheld from you. I mean, the truth is that this 6 weeks or 4 weeks of working on this was mostly me learning that there are such things as photo editors, learning to so I could trim all of the endorsements that Rift Valley put in their photos off, so that they were, I thought, reasonable comparisons with what the existing pictures showed. A concern that Commissioner Sherman raised early on. Commissioner Sherman, you did float the idea of a survey.
Commissioner Gosselin, please address your comments to the chair.
Commissioner Sherman did talk about a survey in early March. The first question
Commissioner Sherman, I think you misspoke. You said Simmons.
I
think
Sherman. No.
I didn't hear it that way, but I think we understand you were referring to the commissioner from SMDO2.
Right. The commissioner from SMDO2 proposed the survey in early March, before the conflict of interest issue overtook the commission. And the first question in this document is, word for word, the first question he wanted asked. It is the first question.
This will not do.
So I've tried it repeatedly to understand where both sides of this commission were on these issues, and try to come down the middle. It's not perfect, but the notion that we have all the time in the world to do a long process, I thought that I was doing a good deed here. Now I know, and Commissioner Nagy had expressed to me before that she felt that she needed to be more involved, but
you chose not to. Unbelievable.
Address your comments.
They're in the technology,
and yet Commissioner Phinizy,
I
chose
do
not
the
to
best
involve
job at coming down the middle. So.
Okay, Commissioner Gosselin, Yes,
Okay.
please make sure you're recognized by the chair. Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry. My apologies. I'm
Thank
just so flabbergasted. Yeah.
We all can be overcome at
Thank you.
times. Miss
May I be
Commissioner
recognized?
Nagy. Commissioner.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
What happened?
Conflicts of interest issues that arose are not a reason not to include me in the debate. And I am, again, beyond aggravated that people are making executive decisions on my behalf without consulting me. There's a telephone, there's an email. When commissioners want to contact me, they know how to contact me. So I'm going to leave it at that and say that this is just incredible. And I'm very, very disappointed at the behavior that's exhibited here. And I want a chance to read and understand what Commissioner Gosselin has put together before anyone in the community gets to look at it. Period. So can we go for a vote?
Thank you, Commissioner Nagy. Commissioner Gosselin,
Yeah.
you had made a motion that the ANC launch by noon Monday, April 27th, the GoVocal project page.
I mean, that's right. I'd be happy to change that until you want to say Friday.
No.
What Friday is. I mean, let's try to get it around, and if there are errors, correct them, and if there is bias, try to correct it. But so let's see. So Friday is May 1st.
So am I hearing that you would like to amend your original motion to launch by May 1st, strike out Monday, April
Yeah.
27th?
I'm trying to accommodate here. I honestly,
No, I want to make, because I have to write it down so it can be
yeah.
read properly. Is that then Friday, May 1st?
Yeah, Friday,
May 1st. Okay, so we have a motion to amend the motion to launch the project by May 1st. Is there a second? And I do see a bunch of hands up, but if
My
they are
hand
not-
has nothing to do with seconding.
but I want to make sure they have nothing to do with second. So,
Nor does mine.
okay, all right.
Bruce,
Notice Bruce.
are you? No, he's not seconding either.
Okay, is there
Is there a second?
a second to launch it on May 1st to amend the election, amend it to go forward on May 1st? Commissioner Simmons?
I have a question regarding this. If there is no second, it's going to stay at the date of Monday.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I guess that offers
Okay.
it.
Okay. I'm just going to pause and reflect for a moment because we are in a tough position, right? We have a position where we've had some hard work and I think some well-intentioned work, but we see that even with some intentions, we have not looped in everyone to the degree that they think is important. And I think if we are going to go forward, perhaps
Can we vote, please?
look at them in. Yeah. I just need a minute to think because I can see so many pros and cons. Sorry. All right, Commissioner Grunewald.
Yes, I would like to point out that we have a member of the community who's had her hand up for a while. She'd like to speak. Thank you.
Hi, Michelle Woolen.
Commissioner Sherman.
Okay. Commissioner Sherman?
Hold on.
Um,
What? Wait, I'm sorry. What?
no,
Can I speak?
I'll defer to
No, no.
Michelle
Yes,
Was I muted?
I recognized you. And then you are not muted now, Michelle. Would you like to speak?
Okay. Yeah, no, it's weird. I hit the thing on my screen to unmute me and I think it mutes me. Okay. Just things I'd like to point out. This idea floated that, the city has made its decision. I want to remind people that with the Tenley Library, the city had chosen a developer, and it wasn't until I believe 8 months later that they pulled back on adding housing because of community opposition. So this is not a done deal. Secondly, Fruman, in terms of this tight timeline, Fruman said to me at a meet and greet about a week or two ago, and I understand he said this to someone else, he is not going to hold a hearing over the summer. He said it likely will not be until the fall, assuming DEMPED finishes its work. So this timeline isn't quite as tight as you think it is. Thirdly, this idea of if there is something that it's just the two commissioners, Gosselin and Simmons, this has never been treated like this for the last 5 years in this ANC. It affects every person in this ANC and should not be limited to two commissioners to come up with a survey. And thirdly, I am just outraged that you're trying to put forth something, whether you call it a survey or whatever, without other commissioners having a chance to see it. This is just outrageous.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.
Could I just address 2 points?
Commissioner Gosselin.
The first is that and I'm happy to take language changes, but I'm trying not to say that, I'm trying to say we have a right to speak on all the matters involving the Rift Valley proposal, including housing. I thought it was wise not to promise that we can do something about all of them. At least that's the attempt of the language. And with regard to the timeline, Councilmember Fruman indicated the same thing to me. I had originally heard him on February 28th saying that this would go before the council in July, and it sounds as if what he now expects is that the Bowser administration's proposal for this would arrive at the council in July, but it would be, the hearings and so forth would be put off until the fall and probably not a vote until October. So yes, the timeline is a little more lenient than when we originally thought it was, but that's it's still really tight, and particularly if the Bowser administration is going to basically hand what they want done to the council in July. And again, that's why I tried to press forward with this.
Commissioner Sherman.
Yeah, there are two different issues here. One is the urgency of doing something, the timeline. Another is doing it right. And we can't sacrifice the latter for the former. The circumstance here is everything we've been discussing, the lack of commissioner involvement, the lack of community involvement. But I do not see a plan attached to this proposal for all the related aspects of implementing a project like this. And I pointed this out in the April 13th note that I sent to Commissioner Gosselin that identified prior questions related to why are we doing this? What do we tell the community? The reason is that we're doing this. When I proposed the one question survey, which has to do with simply, you've seen the Rift Valley proposal. Do you support it or not? Very simple question. We owe the community an opportunity to give their feedback on that with some degree of open-endedness so they can express views about their response, but not to then solicit a wide range of additional information with the implication that the why of the survey is to solicit this additional information so as to propose a counter proposal to the Rift Valley proposal, I'm not quite sure what that's about. So I'd asked the question about why are we doing the survey, given the timeline and so forth. But also I pointed out that we needed a plan. The publicity of this, which another commissioner has already mentioned. In the prior surveys, we sent a mailer to everyone in our ANC so that everyone would have an opportunity to participate. I don't see a plan for developing a mailer and sending a mailer. Typically, the lead time for that to get it printed and mailed in people's homes is a couple of weeks. We're not talking about doing that. I don't see a plan for the ongoing real-time monitoring of the results when they come in. We know the problems with the past surveys. We know what happened in the past survey with respect to the cheating that took place. We have to do real-time monitoring to understand what's happening, if there are any abuses going on. There needs to be post-survey cleaning of the data, analysis of the data to make sure that it's of high quality. Then we have to analyze it. We have to report it out. These are all fundamental steps in doing any project of this sort, and I see no plan for it. So it's not just that we haven't had the consultation, commissioners haven't been involved, community's not been involved. I don't even see a plan. So I'm mystified.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gosselin?
I want to say again, it's not a survey. We're trying to scrape together all the information, and in my attempt to address what I understood was one of Commissioner Grunwald's concerns. I say repeatedly in this text, we have very thin information from the developer and the district right now, but it's trying to put all that in one place, give people a chance to look at that. If they want to answer questions, fine. If they don't have to. Again, no demographics. Yes, there needs to be some monitoring, but I mean, the system itself, the platform has, certain AI-driven parameters about not using swear words and so on and so forth. But the idea that this is like a scientific survey, it's not. It is a online version of a town hall. It's a way to start a discussion about this that has been waylaid by the various controversies that this commission has been involved in. And as for a plan of publication, I think we can get it together fast. But I mean, I have been criticized through most of this discussion for doing too much. And then I think Bruce's criticism is that I haven't done enough. I mean, so it's a little confusing about which it is. We can, getting postcards out, getting flyers out. Yes, it needs to be planned, but I think we can take care of that. And if this is, look, I'm prepared to move this off to May 1st if anybody would second my motion, but we could get this up and running at a certain time and then do the publicity. And we can see from how people react. I mean, they may react and say, these are utterly stupid questions, and then we can change the questions. The idea is to get the ship underway. I do understand Commissioner Nagy's and Commissioner Grunwald's concern. They haven't had enough involvement, and I'm, just so we can get the ship underway, if somebody would second my motion that we amend my original motion so that we can move this to May 1st, maybe we can have that conversation. But this is something that we can correct along the way. It is not.
Point of order. Can we please vote?
Well, we don't have a second. If the vote.
Second.
Thanks. So that's a motion to.
So what are you seconding?
The motion, you amended the motion to launch the GoVocal by noon on May 1st.
We already voted on that.
No, nobody seconded it.
Okay, sorry, we didn't vote on that.
So now it's seconded. I guess we could have discussion on that.
We've discussed enough, I think.
All right.
I mean, well,
yeah, I'm fine.
We've discussed enough to understand where we each stand on it, some issues that we have. Okay. So all those in favor of launching the GoVocal project page by May 1st?
No. I think, point of order, Chair Phinizy. I mean, I think what you're doing is you're voting on the motion to amend the motion, changing the April 27th date to May 1st. Then we got to vote on the original motion. Yes?
You are correct. Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys are good. Okay, so we amend the original motion to vote on to launch the project on May 1st, not to change the date from April 27th to May 1st. All those in favor of changing the date from April 27th to May 1st? Okay, I see 3. Put your hands down. All those opposed?
Motion fails.
The motion fails. Okay, so the original motion stays as April 27th. I would like to amend the motion, and I apologize for not floating this by you in advance, Commissioner Gosselin, but I would like to change the word launch to review. So that it would read, I move that the ANC review by June.
I have asked 3 times to vote on the original motion. At least 3 times. How is it that we haven't voted on the original motion yet?
Okay, so if you, all right, we can call the question. Just say I call the question.
I call the question.
All right, so then we'll, the motion was that the ANC launch by noon, April 27th, the GoVocal project page assessing DC's pick for the community center library site, and that the commission make robust efforts to engage constituents. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
And I'm going to abstain. All right, the motion fails. I hope we can all take a look, though, at this project. I think it represents a tremendous amount of work, both in learning technology, which is not to be underestimated when there's a new technology, and also an attempt to bring balance and to try to bring in information. And I would ask that we all look at it because I think it needs consideration, and perhaps with feedback. I think it's an enormous effort and first step, and I don't think it should go the way of the waste bin. I think it is salvageable, but maybe not acceptable in its current form. And I hope that people will give it a good hard look and give input. And Commissioner Gosselin, I appreciate the work that you have done to make this work and to bring us together. And I hope that we can take those efforts forward. Okay, so the next item is actually mine. Update on Lafayette Pointer Park erosion project. I'm not going to share screen at this moment, but we did have a meeting on April 7th at the Lafayette Pointer Rec Center. It was through the Department of Parks and Rec.
Point of order.
I'm sorry.
Point of order. We need to invite
Yes.
Mr. Gore back to our meeting.
That you are so right. And did you see my finger go up? I was stopping myself. Okay, thank you very much. Let me remind her to do that. Okay, so come on back. Come on back. Okay, all right. Okay, so I will wait for a moment then. Okay, is Commissioner Gore here yet? She acknowledged my text. I expect her here shortly.
I'm looking at the waiting room and I don't see her. I just admitted
Okay,
Renee Turner Inman, but
okay, thank you.
I don't see Commissioner Gore yet.
Okay, she gave me a thumbs up on the text, so I think it's going to be momentarily.
I'll keep an eye out.
Thank you, Commissioner Nagy.
Sure.
Do you see her? Okay, I believe I see down here.
Oh,
Okay, great.
do you see her? Because I don't. Then I'd like to know why. Oh, there she
Yes.
is.
Okay.
She's in.
Yes,
Okay.
just needed to, it was the different name, the ANC 3G, so,
Oh, I see.
okay, yeah,
Great.
yeah. All
Okay.
right, there we go. All righty, welcome back, Commissioner Gore. Okay, so I'm just gonna, I'll be brief here because this project that we have at the Lafayette Park, I got a message earlier today from the Friends of Lafayette Park that they would like to discuss this. So I think I'll have further information after not the April 27th meeting, but by May 11th. But if I can screen share for a moment with you, you can see that the Lafayette Pointer Park, there was an erosion control meeting with DPR. They have hired a contractor, and it's one of those kind of design build things to address the erosion in the top of the hill at Lafayette Pointer Park. Here in the center, where my cursor is moving, that is the gazebo. You can see the playground, the baseball court. So it would be the upper field and then what sometimes is called the dog leg, but it's the northwest corner of the park that goes very steeply downhill. What they are proposing to do is very interesting. They are proposing to put in a giant berm, not giant, but quite a bit of berm here, and then have basically funnel a bunch of the water down to the northwest corner of the park, taking out a number of trees, including some of the cherries and crepe myrtles and oak trees, having different kind of coconut coir berms. Then they were going to do some soil aeration where they air spade, they dig in at the top. Then they were going to completely mulch this entire northwest corner of the park, cover into everything inside the pink would be covered with wood chips. And then if we look at the top of the sort of going to the stairs by Patterson Street, this area would be spaded, another tree taken out. The all this area would be spaded and then covered with wood chips. And then we come to the top of the playground and they would air spade this part, but not the top. The preliminary discussions look like the feedback from the community that was there at the park was that this was not a great plan, that the water at the top needed to be captured at the top and that all this area needed to be air spaded because that area was significantly compacted and needed to be rehabilitated. They responded that that was a budget issue, but this is where the place from where the water flows. Also that people were upset about taking out a bunch of trees. The reason was because that we're going to have to tie in a big pipe here. And the feeling was to capture the water up higher rather than go forward. So these would be some of the coconut coir berms that would be laid sort of parallel to topographical lines perpendicular to the slopes. And then areas, massive areas would be covered with wood chips. So right now, that project is still being thought about. The Friends of Lafayette Park is going to meet next week. I've been invited to join them, and then I will be doing some more community engagement with it. But that's sort of where we are right now. That concludes my presentation. Are there any questions? Carol Grunewald.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair Phinizy, for that presentation. I see that some trees are going to be removed For the erosion project, are these large trees? How many trees are we talking about? And are they large? What kind of trees?
Sure. Let me go back and share screen. So they vary in size. One of them is an oak tree about the size of the image here. This is not our park, but it's probably what, like a 15-inch tree. If we go down to this site map, these are, if you're familiar with the park, these are some of the cherries and crepe myrtles
Right.
down here. They kind of go in a row parallel to Broad Branch near the path. And speaking of the path, another point of concern was that the path, which is quite degraded and torn up and actually not safe because of the jagged edges and deteriorating chunks of asphalt, is not scheduled to be fixed because of budget issues. And we said, this is a significant problem, especially around this area right here. The path is really torn up. And if they do all this air spading and rehabilitate the soil, and then they have to come back later and drive in a truck to put in a new path, they're going to be undoing all their good work. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was another bone of contention. But I think it was 5 trees down in the lower area. There was another one here. And I think that was about maybe a 10 or 12-inch tree. So not the big heritage trees on top. You can get an idea from the circle of that is like the root zone and the spread of the tree. It's not nearly as big as the ones up top, but some of the ornamentals are really nice.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, there's no action needed at this time, but depending on what the Friends of Lafayette Park folks say and community engagement, I may be asking for a resolution at a later date to inform DPR. Okay, we have a treasurer's report, Commissioner Sherman, and then also presentation from OANC, or questions and answers from OANC about our website. Commissioner Sherman?
Yeah, the treasurer's report's fairly simple. We had 2 expenditures during the month of March. Both were for GoDaddy, totaling $305.99. Our balance remains like 57,000 and change. So those are the only 2 items. It's very little to report.
Thank you, Commissioner Sherman. And now we have with us Kent Bays through the office of the ANC, who is called, I'm sorry, Commissioner Gore, are you muted? I think you are muted, Commissioner Gore.
Yes, I had my hand up for the treasurer's report.
I'm sorry, I did not see that. Sorry.
Is there a hard copy of the treasurer's report?
I'll produce one and send it to you. There's
Okay.
not for this meeting. I can have one for Monday.
Please do. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any more questions about the treasurer's report before I move on? No. Okay. All right. So the Office of the ANC, for those on the call, this is an agency that exists to support the ANCs, and they've been instrumental in helping us get a website up to speed. As you all may have known, our previous website was basically in hospice or the ICU, somewhere between the two. It was really plagued with 503 service errors due to the old software. And the OANC, which had been talking about doing websites for some time, finally was able to get both the resources and the bandwidth, no joke intended, but pun intended, but to help us. So I would like, if it's okay, turn it over to Kent Bays to share with us sort of where we are, because we've had some community questions about, what are the features that are going to be coming? When are we going to be able to get historical records up and so forth? Because while it is functional, it's not completely built out yet. So I'm going to turn it over to Kent, and you're able to unmute yourself, right, Kent?
Oh, I believe I am.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
I also think you've unwisely allowed me to share my screen.
I have wisely allowed you to share your screen because I'm hoping you will.
Well, I enjoyed the pun, so I couldn't resist. So sure, I'm happy to show you, let's see, God willing, I'm going to figure this out. Share. And then I think this is the new website you all are currently experiencing. By the shaking of your head, yes. I think it's helpful to have a little background on this so that people know where we are, what we're trying to do, and where we're going. I've been in charge of the OANC since November of 2022. And from the very beginning, I've been very interested in modernizing, rebuilding, and presenting functional websites that meet ADA requirements, language access, secure systems backed up on our systems. And as you can imagine, it takes time. So I have been talking to ANCs for the last several years about this is my long-term goal, one of many long-term goals. And we have had a lot of interest from ANCs who would like to have us create and host websites for them. But through that process, we first had to launch a new site for the Office of Advisory Neighborhood Commissions, which launched in January of 2025. And that allowed us to start turning to look at ANC websites. Last year had a couple of speed bumps. People may recall that due to Congress failing to pass a budget, the mayor had a spending freeze, a hiring freeze, and a whole other litany of things that slowed us down a little bit. But I also think it's helpful to know that many ANCs are on sites that are somewhat unstable, at life's end, have various issues. And our advice to the commissions through that entire time has been, if you have a project for an upgrade, if you have a designer, please don't wait on us until we're ready to provide a website, simply because we did not have a date certain from OCTO, which is the Office of the Chief Technology Officer with whom we've been working on this project. So you can imagine that at the beginning of this year, we were starting to build out our first 5 sites. It may be no surprise to anyone that ANC 34G was not on our radar to be one of the first sites. It was further on down the list. We did not have a clear understanding of just how unstable your site was. And so I'd say about the end of February, we started getting communications from the commission. I know Commissioner Gore reached out to us. Commissioner Phinizy reached out to us. I'm also sure Nagy and Sherman reached out to us, if not everyone. And we reached a critical point where, for all intents and purposes, the legacy 34G site died, right? Like no one could get onto it. And that created a bit of an opportunity. And so on March 1st, I believe we started working on a website for 34G. We pushed it through fast, and we were able to get it launched on March 13th. As you can understand, I hope you can understand, this is not the way we would normally like to launch a site. We would like to have more time for commissioner review before we go live. We would like to have an opportunity to migrate data before we go live. But we reached a point where there was no way to provide a basic core service. A lot of the things we expect on websites, we are supporting or will support. That said, by statute, there's only 2 things that are required to be on the website, and that's the ANC calendar and the ANC agenda as part of the public notice process. So if the site 34G was using could not do that, that was a problem, because that was one of the sources the commission had identified as where the community could go find information about the upcoming meeting. So that's kind of a long intro to say, so this is where we are. I believe at this point, within the last 4 years, everything that was on the old site, or most everything that was on the old site, is on this site. There are some things that we're still working on as far as enhancements to make it more logical to find information. such as I believe one thing that's not on this site per se is your annual reports. I'll give you an idea, and I'll bounce back to this, but this might help. So annual reports are not on the new website yet, and we're intending to put it right here above the bylaws. When you move over to the ANC records, your meeting agendas are not surfacing under the ANC records yet, and we would like to do that. They're currently attached to the calendar. And so if you were to go into the calendar and find a meeting, you would find the agenda attached there, but we want to surface it so you don't have to go hunting for it. Meeting minutes also we want to surface and put between agendas and the meeting recordings. Now let me get rid of that and go back here. So those are like three very high profile document types that we want to get onto the website. We did also spend some time and recently added, I think at the beginning of this week, a resolutions page, which goes back to 2023. Our goal is to add things retrospectively, if that's the right word, in reverse chronological order. So we'll continue to build it out over the next couple of weeks, adding 2022, then 2021, then 2020. The thinking there is that the most recent documents probably have the highest value and the highest interest. We understand the value of the historical records, but we also understand the return on that investment lessens over time. And so that's why we're going to approach it the way we're going to approach it. Had we had the luxury of migrating data before going live, some of these records would already be here. That option kind of went off the table once we had to go live with a product and we were starting to manage it, and it was becoming more and more out of sync with both the beta site and your legacy site, which again, if you go to the site that you were using on the right night with low internet usage, you might be able to get there. But again, no resident should have to do that to find out when the next meeting is. And then I will say, as far as basic, since they're members of the community on here, basic structure, we decided to go with 2 menu bars. And to kind of give you an idea of why, the upper bar, for the most part, this is information that is managed by the OANC or being pulled from our website so that a document goes up once, but we can map it to multiple places. We had to get the firewalls in place. Clearly, if you're looking at data for ANC 3G, you should not be seeing data for ANC 4A and vice versa. So for right now, until we get a meetings page, until we get a meeting minutes page, you can find minutes by going up to the ANC financial documents, and we have minutes there as part of the financial profile. That's just a way to find them until we get them where they logically should go. But anyway, so, this is just like a go across the top information on open government and FOIA. Every website should have this. So we say we manage the upper bar, but that's because we are building out a suite of interrelated websites where every commission's website will largely be unique to that commission, but there is some data that is constant for every commission and constant for every resident who wants to interact. And so we're trying to keep the things that are similar managed internally so that the commissioners don't have to constantly fuss with that, and keep them consistent. And so we've done that across the top, which in this case is dark blue. The lower menu, the one here in white, these will be the resources that the commission manages directly. One of our challenges and one of the reasons why we don't have the 3 document types I've identified up yet is I've been working with Octo to get user profiles set up so that we can get usernames and passwords to the commissioners to start managing. I'll say I'm happy to report, but I haven't tested it yet. I believe Octo was able to accomplish that yesterday. I haven't had a chance to test it because I was in the budget oversight hearing. It's one of the things I plan to do this weekend, and then we can follow up with you and hopefully work with the commission to figure out who wants to, or who you all decide should be adding future meeting calendars, adding agendas, updating the resolutions page, things like that. Our intent is that you will be managing your own data as much as possible. Again, it's your community, it's your site. You should be deciding what is important to your community. It's certainly something we don't want to decide for you. And then, since we're here, I also had a couple of ideas and something your commission should think about. I'm going to hop over to, if you don't mind. This is the site that we're building out for ANC 1E. It's not live yet. You can't go here, but it's live to us. I hopped over here just because something I want you all to consider is one thing that we've added to their website is essentially ANC news and updates. They're in the press release module, but essentially what they are is you can choose your own image and you can write your own write-up. In listening to your meeting earlier tonight, I was thinking this could be something that would be useful to you if you wanted to do like an announcement for Goods for Good, if you want to drive people to that event. When you get to the point where you have a survey of the Civic Core or a GoVocal page, this might be a place where you'd want to put something to help drive people to that site. This is something that we can work with Octo to get added probably within 2 days if it's a feature that you're interested in, and I could maybe direct you to maybe a live site that has that if you want to explore it. Again, not required, but it's an option and one that we could deploy for you rather quickly. So it's a way for you to think about community engagement and what works for your community and what works for your commission. So that's probably a lot more of my talking than you wanted. So I'm open to questions from commissioners. The only thing I would ask is Commissioner Phinizy, if there are questions, unless you want me to take the screen sharing down, I really can't see who's raised their hand. So I would need a little help with playing traffic cop.
Sure. And I really appreciate it. I know we had some questions from constituents in the past about like where could they find the minutes, and it isn't really intuitive to look under financial documents, but if we know that they're there for right now, at least that's really helpful. Commissioner Sherman?
So I appreciate all that, Kent. I have mentioned to you several times in email exchanges how much I appreciate the work you've done on the website. I thank you here publicly for your incredible efforts. So thank you. You and I had various exchanges this week, and I copied you on a note to the commissioners with respect to the historic material, the archival, if you will, material that is buried in both the old site, the legacy site, and the beta site. The beta site that the commission developed starting in July of 2024 mirrors the legacy site with respect to the content. And if members of the public are maybe not that familiar with it, some of the commissioners are not that familiar with it. So I used one example from the legacy site and the beta site of the 2016 Lafayette School Modernization Project. And that circumstance, that project is captured, is archived in our various websites with about 10 or 12 different presentations and other documents that are really great for the historical record to go back and look at what people were talking about then. But that material arguably does not need to be up at our website. The question, though, is how do we, and this is what you and I were talking about, and I put it in my note to the commissioners, how do we, as a commission, offload all of that historic material? And there's a wealth of it at the legacy side and the beta side, to what you and I were talking about, for example, a OneDrive, where we can archive that material and over time look at it to determine if there is some of that we'd like to migrate to the website. And the more quickly we can do that, the more quickly we can go ahead and cancel the beta site that we've developed, because we've now gone with OANC as hosting our website. But there's a process there that's going to take some time to offload that material. And so I'm surfacing here for conversation with the commissioners what I put in my memo, and that is to have a parallel process that takes material on the beta site, again, mirrored on our legacy site, and offload that, not incorporate it into the new website, but put it on a OneDrive, and then over time take a look at it to determine what we'd like to move, if any of it, to the new site. So since you and I were exchanging emails on that, I'd be interested in any further thoughts from you now as we kind of puzzle through how we manage all this.
Yeah, I would say that too. Every commissioner and commission, you have websites that have the full 365 suite, and that includes OneDrive. And since it's from Octo, it's a secure site. So if you were to, for example, to use your 3G at anc.dc.gov, which is kind of the office account, and set up a OneDrive folder structure within there for your archives, you could very quickly, I presume, if you were to export all the records off of the beta site and put it into a OneDrive folder, you could then, from this site, even while you're trying to sort out how you want to handle that material, you could create a link from this website directly into the OneDrive for your archive materials and let people have access immediately. And that would not prevent you from creating subfolders and starting to sort things out and decide what is important enough to also add directly onto the website, or even find a folder of things that you want to perhaps stop managing entirely and send to the DC archives, right? Like there's various ways to handle that data depending upon the relevancy. I do think that the history of a lot of your bigger projects from the first time the commission has discussed it to the final resolution is interesting and valuable, just because these are issues that every community sooner or later has to go through. And the process may be similar from community to community, but the concerns certainly aren't. I've spent some time at the DC archives, and there's some really good old paper records there, but I don't think anything has been transferred from a commission to the archives in easily 20 years. Mm-hmm. And they're very interested in having as complete a record of ANC records as possible. They're just not getting them. So right. Record management is something that's kind of top of my mind right now. And you would be an excellent candidate for us to work through these specific issues so that we can get your records in order, get them organized and accessible to the community. And, a blessing and a curse is that, well, I don't think the way this was rolled out was how we would have chosen to do it. You went from not even being on my list to being the very first website we published because of your need. A lot of the lessons we're learning in working with you are certainly going to benefit the other 45 commissions.
Right. Is there there's a intersection of the requirements for legally mandated records management that we'll have to be very mindful of as we offload this material and store it on the OneDrive and then decide ultimately what to do with it. I mean, I know it's a conversation for down the road, but you brought that up this week in the email exchange, and I've paid attention to it. I recognize it's an issue.
Well, rule of thumb right now is don't get rid of anything.
Right.
We have to look at it first, and we have to decide how to manage it long term, but don't get rid of anything.
Right. Well, there is at the website, when we say not get rid of anything, I totally understand that and I support that. That's why we were talking this week about how to offload all this material so that we can look at it. But there will be on our side a requirement to spend very considerable time going through this material because if one hasn't been at the legacy site or the beta site and gone deeply into it to look at all the material that's in there, it's astounding how much stuff is in there.
Yeah. And I think it's typical, like when we were starting to work with Octo, one of the first questions I ask is for your document management schedule, because they want to see how many years the agency keeps certain types of records. Well, I'm willing to go out on a very thin branch that no commission has a document management schedule. So we've been trying to think through what is a reasonable period of time for commissions to keep certain types of documents before they're transferred to the archives, with the understanding that commissions are fully, even if the standard were 7 years, a commission could decide that it really should be 10 and it really should be 12 for certain types of documents based on the interest in the community.
Right.
Thank you so much, Kent. I think, especially on a Friday night, this is a lot of time that you've been giving on weekends already. I see two more questions from commissioners. Commissioner Gosselin, followed by Commissioner Nagy.
Commissioner Gore has her hand up.
Yeah, Gore is first.
Okay, I'm sorry. She's not showing on my, oh, you know what happened? I didn't click the up arrow. I'm sorry, Commissioner Gore. Mi culpa.
Thank
All right. All right.
I guess have a statement and a suggestion. I had been webmaster for the ANC's website for a couple of years, and I know it intimately. I know what documents, how many documents are in there, where they go, and the organization of our site. I don't consider it a lot of information, and that's just in my opinion. I would be more than happy to work with you, Kent, on trying to organize getting those documents transitioned over. Anything that was on our legacy site should be transferred to the new site. We had community projects that go back some time that we could create a landing page for archived projects, and we could park everything there. Everything from the small area plan to, some of the original engagement surveys going back to 2018 on the Civic Core project, you name it, street lighting. There's a lot of legacy information there. The rest of it is kind of broken down by documents and letters. There's also a couple of different pages that might have links that contain documents that need to go into a document table, or that could be transferred into the document tab on the new site. But I don't consider us having really anything that was on our legacy site that should not be transferred over. We can organize it so that it's not our primary facing, landing page. Obviously, we have a couple tabs up here now. We could always make a tab that says archive projects and just park everything there. I know I have a constituent in the community that is very, very concerned about this. And I've also heard from former ANC commissioners that are concerned as well, and community members that want to retain all the information. They do not want to see anything off of our website gone. And I don't think we have that much that should even be in consideration. So I'm more than happy to help out to get whatever needs to be done. I do not want the contractor to continue to carrying costs for hosting this site, which the ANC has not approved yet. So we need to get that beta site down as fast as possible. We have to get that beta site shut down as fast as possible, and I'm willing to help do that.
Thank you, Commissioner. One thing I would like to respond to on that too is my limitations right now, for the most part, are for documents that need to be added. I personally do not have access to either the beta site or the legacy site, and therefore I don't have the documents. If you have the documents and you're able to send them to me or put them in a folder to give me access, that would be awesome. The other piece that has slowed down some of this is I just need some basic decisions or people to work with me. Again, the goal has been to give you a site that primarily serves you. And so as Commissioner Sherman had indicated, I have had some email exchanges with him because I've been asking basic document management questions and asking for guidance from the commission. And, I don't want to race ahead and do like 3 weekends worth of work just to find it isn't what you wanted. So if I can get some clarity on documents that are the highest priority, we can work on those first. And then with the goal of getting everything. Like the goal has always been to have the ANC not lose anything. My mantra within the office has been, I want to give the ANCs more with these websites, not less. And at the baseline, it has to be the same.
Thank you, Kent. It is true that Kent has worked and does work many
Oh,
weekends.
I'm not complaining.
No, but it's above and beyond the call of duty, and we appreciate it. Commissioner Gosselin and then Commissioner Nagy, did I have the order right?
No,
Thank you.
I just want to point out what I see as an analogy between what we're discussing now and what we just discussed. OANC and Kent are designing basically our online public face, and they're doing it under time pressure because the old site collapsed. And we are trusting them to do a lot of this. A lot of the design you're looking at, perhaps Bruce had some say in it, but basically we are trusting them. I think if the commissioners who expressed doubts about the work I did on the GoVocal site get a chance to look at it, and I hope they listen to Chair Phinizy's encouragement for you to do that. My aim was to be as trusted and to do a down the middle site. I understand there's huge distrust among the commissioners, but that's the aim of the GoVocal site. It's not to be polemical. It's to try to be an information and feedback source. This is a much grander one, and it has the whole problem of all the historical stuff. But I honestly see an analogy between what we're trusting to be done here and what we apparently didn't trust me to do with GoVocal. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Gosselin. Commissioner Nagy?
Thank you. First, I want to say a giant thank you to Kent, because I've seen emails from him at all hours about the website and getting it up and running so that we had some kind of website presence. So that was really above and beyond, and thank you so much for doing that. It's a framework. This is not the website that this ANC will, I hope, vote on. This should be a decision of the body, not any one person's decision, even as to what goes up on the new website. So it's great to be willing to help archive, figure out what in our legacy site and what in the flywheel site should go up on this website. But I do think that, this is a commission and we should operate as a body and decide together how we want this website to look. Because that said, I just think you've done an amazing job, and thank you so very much for getting us a presence that is very usable and that we can use as a springboard for how the commission wants to go forward.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Sherman, is that your hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Kent, I just want to confirm, you do have access to the beta site, the flywheel site. You and I exchanged emails on that this week, and I asked you where you were getting the documents that you were putting up at the new site. There are only two sources. The legacy site and the flywheel site are mirror images in terms of content. And that site is available. I sent the link again to all the commissioners. You all have access to it. You can search it. All the material that's ever been on our old site is at that site. through January of this year. And that's the material that I've been looking at to understand the task at hand. And I appreciate Commissioner Gore's remarks about this because she has been very much involved in managing that content over the years. But there is, in my view, quite a bit of material there that we're going to have to eventually sort through. And so anyway, I just want to clarify for folks, there's redundancy. There's no risk at the moment at all of losing any of our historical material. It's available. The only question now is where we put it and how much of it, even things that go back now 10 years or more, how much of it we put at the website or how much of it we have still readily available to the community just in a OneDrive that, as Kent mentioned earlier, there would be a link to from our website.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Sherman. I think that's, we'll need to move forward offline, not at this meeting right now, just because it is Friday night and we are at 9 o'clock and we don't have much left to finish, but I want to thank Kent. And, if there are questions from constituents that you want to send via us to Kent, I'm sure Kent's been absolutely wonderfully responsive. And we'd be glad to forward any questions from constituents to him. So thank you, Kent, and have a good weekend if you choose not to work, but I don't believe it for a minute. You're working all the time.
I don't like being idle.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't
Okay.
do that to me.
Okay. All right. Well, you have a good one not being idle.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you. We have a few announcements of general interest, no votes. Commissioner Simmons, do you want to talk about the possible meeting on June 9th?
Yes, so just for everyone awareness, until you see a flyer, we're tentatively at having a community meeting with DC Public Library. This community engagement meeting will
Point of order. Are we about to discuss the Civic Core?
No, this is just the DCPL, DPR meeting.
Is it about the Civic Core? Because if it is
the engagement on the Civic Core.
So then it is about the Civic Core, and I believe that Commissioner Gore just recused herself from
I'm sorry.
matters concerning the Civic Core.
All right. Point well taken, but give a moment. Commissioner Gore makes that decision if she needs to recuse momentarily. Do you need to recuse again momentarily?
Wait, point of order. I mean, this is an announcement. Is she gonna have to turn off her camera to hear an announcement? I mean, this is not we're not debating the issue.
This is Commissioner Gore's decision. We're going to make an announcement about a meeting. Do you need to recuse yourself, Commissioner Gore?
I mean, it's a general announcement. I mean, are we participating in discussion?
No, it's just an announcement.
Are we voting?
No.
No.
Okay, it's a general announcement?
It's a general announcement.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So
if you feel you need to recuse, please stop me.
So going back, I would like the caveat to the community until you see a flyer from DCPL and DPR. We are tentatively set, and when I say we, DCPL and DPR will be leading this meeting. It will be a community engagement meeting only focused on our civic spaces. That's it.
The DCPL and DPR managed spaces.
Yes, our civic spaces.
Okay.
So again, this meeting is just community engagement that's going to be led by DC government.
Okay, so just pencil in June 9th.
Yes, and when DC Public Library is very good about putting all of their meeting notices on all their social media accounts, they'll also send those out. So that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. I also just wanted to make a note. We have a few more budget hearings with DC Council. I was kind of sad at how little notice the DC Council gave in their hearing notices, but there are a few coming up. So if anyone does want to go testify in front of for the hearing schedule, there are a few more coming up, but they got up to us like the week before, so it wasn't much time. But we have DDOT is on Monday, and that's in room 500. Let's see, and then We also have, I'm saying DHS is on Monday. DGS is on Monday. DPR is on Monday. And then we have Octo is on Tuesday. DC Housing Authority is next Wednesday. Office of Unified Communications is on next Wednesday. So if anyone is able and willing and wants to testify for those, and Commissioner Sherman, you might particularly be interested in this. DPW is on Thursday.
Great.
Okay, so that's another announcement there.
Oh, I had a hand up for
I'm
clarification.
sorry, Commissioner Simmons, yes.
Yeah, just when you say if you want to testify, that's in our personal capacity as a resident of the District of Columbia, or is that as a commissioner on behalf of the ANC?
You could be a personal capacity, or you could be your commissioner for your SMD without
Thank you.
advance notice. If you
Thank
want,
you.
if you want to
Want-
testify for a whole commission, you have to give it, time to get in the record, getting voted, and we just don't have time for that. But you could represent you as your SMD 05.
I just wanted to make sure it was
Yes,
clear
thank
and
you.
understood. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry. It is late. Okay. So, commissioner reports, can we just go in commissioner number order? Commissioner Simmons, is your hand still up for this or no? Okay. Commissioner Gore, commissioner announcements. We'll try to keep it to 1-2 minutes each.
Sure. I just, quick announcement, yesterday sent out the notice for the Pinehurst update on the sidewalk gap project, which includes Pinehurst Circle and Utah Avenue. So I sent that out on my email list. I sent it out on 2 community listservs, as well as Chevy Chase Chatter, and Facebook as well, my Facebook. So it contains a really good update. It contains the project plans, and it contains a link to a survey. I've gotten some really, really good survey comments in there. So I encourage everyone to take the survey, regardless of if you live in an affected property or not. If you use that area, feel free to take it. And we are scheduling a tentative hold the date for May 5th at 6 p.m. DDOT walkthrough of that area. I'm waiting for them to confirm, and as soon as I get confirmation, I will send that out to the community. I'll also provide the same update on Monday, and just a shout out to the community members in MPD that came to the Hawthorne walkthrough the other day. It was very hot. MPD walked us to death. I think I did 75 minutes walking around with them, and but it was great. Neighbors came out, talked to them when they saw them, and we had a Maryland resident join us from across the line, so that was good too. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gore. SMDO2, Commissioner Sherman.
Yeah, I published my latest constituent newsletter focused on Earth Week. Earth Day was Wednesday. And I have in that newsletter 10 suggestions of ways people can get involved in doing something for the environment. One of those is parochial in the sense that it is our episodic collaboration with DOEE, Department of Energy and the Environment, to maintain our bioretention beds. The next event is going to be on May 1st at 8:30, starting at 29th and Tennyson. It's in my newsletter. We have a partnership agreement, sort of tacit agreement with DOEE to help maintain our beds. And we have volunteers in the community who show up. And some commissioners have. Commissioner Gore participated in the past in one of these, whereby we dig in and take the weeds out, get the debris out of the bioretention beds. And that's coming up on May 1st. Again, 8:30, we'll be meeting at 29th and Tennyson in the morning, weather permitting.
Thank you, Commissioner Sherman. Commissioner Grunewald, SMDO3.
Yes. So I have a couple of things. This past Monday, I had the pleasure of hosting the executive director of the Board of Elections, Monica Evans, at Ingleside to do a ranked choice voting presentation. It was very well attended. It was fun. It was very pleasant and extremely informative. And the Ingleside community was extremely appreciative. So I wanted to say it was a wonderful success. And and then the second item I wanted to mention is not a happy event. There was a small robbery yesterday in my neighborhood, in my SMD at 1:15 p.m. On the corner of Military and 27th Street, and a juvenile was walking home wearing his headphones, his Apple AirPods Max headphones, and he was approached by an adult riding a green bicycle, a rental bicycle, who indicated he had a weapon and demanded that the young person remove it and give it to him. So the adult walked away with the headphones, but there were no injuries. So I understand, having contacted Captain Darren Haskis of MPD, that although they have no witnesses, they have some leads, and detectives are actively working the case. So one good thing and one bad thing for my SMD. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm glad the rank choice at least was positive. Yeah. And Director Evans has been awesome. I heard on the radio recently. SMD 04, that's me. We have a cleanup tomorrow morning at Lafayette Pointer Park. If you can come, bring your own gloves. It would be great if you have your own wheelbarrow or rake. I think those might be useful too. It'll go from 9 to 1. There'll be donuts and some things. I'll be working with the Friends of Lafayette Park about the erosion project. And the field is getting closer to being fully opened. Unfortunately, we're seeing some people bring their dogs down there, and it's not my favorite thing to do, to go run, chase people off and say, please don't come. But if you have a dog, please don't come there. Come to another place, because it's really important that we have waited 8 years for this new grass, and the kids deserve a good place to play. The adults with them deserve a good place to play, and dogs can be happy elsewhere. Thank you. And the other thing I just wanted to remind commissioners, if we seem to have some AI training and financial disclosure paperwork and so forth. So make sure you've done that. And then last, for the field, I'm also working with DGS to make sure they get watering and they do the aerating in the spring, which they haven't done yet. Okay, SMD 05, Commissioner Simmons.
Hi, yes, I'm gonna make an announcement for Lafayette. They just opened up their ADA ramp, so that's very exciting. Be an inclusive community for our students and families that attend Lafayette. For my SMD, the bioretention facilities, the landscape bump outs, those are in progress. So the one at Chevy Chase and Patterson that was completed, up on deck the week of May 8th is going to be at Nevada and Livingston. And then the next one, and I have I'm seeking clarity on it. We received information on Broad Branch and Nevada. I'm not sure if that's going to be at McKinley, Morrison, I'm not really sure which part of that it will be for the bump outs there. Also, I put in my newsletter, there are going to be a couple additional ranked choice voting webinars that community members can attend. Also, there's going to be a community meeting on April 28th for RFK Stadium. So just want to just add community members to participate where they can. I know I'm going to participate, excited for the kids area over there. Age-friendly task force, they're accepting participants. That's going to be June 10th, 2026. And then lastly, one of my constituents brought this up, but I just want to let my constituents know to share my ANC email address, which is 3go5@anc.dc.gov, and my website, ksimmonsanc.com. That's where I post all my news and updates. The reason why I am pointing out this information is I don't want my constituents to be able to receive updates from me directly. I'm no longer able to participate in the Chevy Chase listserv, so I don't want individuals to think that because I'm not active in that community realm that I'm not active with my constituents. So just make sure if you need to get in touch with me, my email address is accessible. So that's all. Thank you. And oh, and the last thing, Joy of Glass, I have a small business in my single member district, will now be at the farmers market if you're interested in purchasing any of the items that they sell.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. SMD 06, Commissioner Gosselin.
Two things. One, if you're walking by Starbucks, you'll see two 12-foot, 15-foot cement basements that have been installed on the Livingston Street side. Those are part of the DC plug undergrounding of the electrical service, and they give you a sense of the dimensions that it takes to do this. Most of the transformers that will go into those big holes are being done at street corners. However, some are being done in the tree boxes in front of people's houses, and if residents have a problem with that, they should notify me. I will be out Monday morning meeting with Pepco and their contractor about a problem on Morrison Street. And if there are others that are not being located at the corners, I'd like to hear about them. And then separately, just a reminder that on Sunday, unfortunately in the PNC parking lot is the Chevy Chase Art Festival, where Marilee will also be exhibiting from 11 to 4. I say unfortunately because we worked really hard to try to convince the owners of the American City Diner site to open it up for this purpose. We even have arranged for liability insurance so they would face no problems. But I don't think the message even got to the owners. The brokers simply wouldn't move on it. But it wasn't for trying, and I want to particularly do a shout out to Anna Claire Walker at District Bridges and Jerry Mallitz, who encouraged this whole effort. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Gosselin. SMD 07, Commissioner Nagy.
Yeah, thank you. Just a quick note that sometime in the next couple of meetings, probably sooner rather than later, I'm just letting everybody know I have a BZA application for a one-story addition in my SMD, and they have a hearing date of July 1st, which, believe it or not, is an expedited. Carol, did you have? Okay.
Okay.
I don't know whether you guys have a question that preempts me or not.
Yeah. Oh, no. I
Okay.
wanted to respond to Chair Phinizy's question about the bioretention, modified bioretention facility at Broad Branch in Nevada, located at Broad Branch in Nevada at Chapel Road. And they're replacing the roadway with landscaping and new sidewalk. The street sign will remain, but that's what that is. They've because the funding was lost for maintaining bioretention facilities. DDOT is not building any new ones. So what they're doing is in some of the places where the bioretention pits were going to go, they are just now doing landscaped bump outs for that will serve to direct stormwater and help. And they're also doing landscaping that will help the stormwater to be absorbed better. So that was one of the locations that someone had a question about, I believe.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sherman?
Yeah, just to,
I'm not done, by the way.
oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Commissioner
okay.
Nagy?
All right, Liz.
Bruce, why don't you say what you want to say? And I'll
I'm just going to say very quickly
announcements all at one time.
We've got also an RCV ranked choice voting briefing at Knollwood. This is kind of following Commissioner Grunwald's note about Ingleside. That's coming up on April 30th, Thursday at 7 o'clock. And my constituent and as you all know, chair of the Board of Elections, Gary Thompson, has generously offered to do that briefing for Knollwood residents. I've announced it in my newsletter, and Knollwood has generously offered to welcome members of the community to come and participate. So we're going to be promoting that as a community-wide event. Folks can park in the Knollwood parking lot and attend that on Thursday, May 30th at 7 o'clock. Thanks.
Thank you. Back to Commissioner Nagy.
Okay, so just a quick recap, BZA thing, I need to get that on the agenda for my constituent. But ranked choice voting, to that point, I have asked Monica Evans to arrange for training on or information to be given to the folks at Regency House, in particular in my SMD, because I think that it will be a big surprise to see how different the ballots look this time around. And I don't want them to be surprised. They should be informed. So I have reached out to her to find out where that's at, but I don't have an answer yet. So I hope to have an answer about that soon.
Okay.
Happily, we managed to get with Councilmember Freeman's assistance, we're able to get a really bad section of Military Road repaved, the 3800 block. And I got a ton of thank yous from constituents as far away as 3 blocks who are really pleased not to hear the traffic. Every time a truck would go over, they would hear it in their houses. So happy about that. And sorry. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. But commissioners, please note that I bumped the public comments to the end, and we do need to give time for them. So don't sign off after we hear from Commissioner Gosselin, because I'm going to open up for public comments. Commissioner Gosselin.
Well, just very quickly, if we're all announcing Board of Election briefings, I think I've got one for the Chevy Chase House. I actually don't know the date. I did a presentation there about the Civic Core, and they asked about that. So I think we've got that in the works too.
Okay, great. Okay, so our commission business is finished, and now we have options for the public to speak on things that are not agenda items. If they want to speak for a minute. Michelle Wolin. Just one point of procedure. Commissioner Gore, per your earlier recusal, would you like me to ask people or if they identify so that you can perhaps I can try to open a breakout room, or how do you want me to handle that? I can make a breakout room. Would you like to do that instead of having to completely leave the meeting if something comes up, or what would you prefer?
Point of order, we're not going to debate these announcements.
No, I want to make sure that I give time and space to not, make people able to do the right thing. So would you like a breakout room?
Chair Phinizy, I thought community members' comments were for things not on the agenda. So we have already covered the Civic Core, so we should not cover things that we've already discussed.
Okay, point well taken, Commissioner Simmons. Thank you. Okay, good. That makes life much less complicated. All right, Michelle Wolin. Michelle?
Okay. Okay. The mute thing, it's changed. Anyway, this is not about the Civic Core. Of course, you think because it's me, it is. It is not. And it's actually a question for Lisa Gore. If memory serves me correctly, I think there was a home break-in in your SMD. I think it was yours. Can you tell us anything more about that? Like, were people home? Do they know how they entered or anything like that?
I don't know what you're referring to.
It might be that the AirPod guy, when he reported it when he got home, and I think
no, I saw this. I think Lisa, about a month ago, I think you had a meeting with your SMD about crime in the neighborhood.
That wasn't a home break-in. That was a theft from auto.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought I saw there was a home break-in. Okay. All right. Never mind.
Okay. Wish all life's problems were so easily solved. All right. What other comments from the public do we have? Okay, seeing no questions from the public, then I'm going to declare this meeting adjourned. I wish everybody happy weekend. Maybe I'll see some of you at the Lafayette Pointer Park cleanup, but if not, we'll see each other at the regular meeting on Monday evening. Thank you for coming and have a good night.